I told you your favorite zero-calorie soda has ingredients that have been linked to cardiovascular disease, depression, and childhood obesity? Certain food additives, as insignificant as they may seem, play a big role in your health and have many potential risk factors when you consume them. Today, I will discuss how the FDA lets several harmful substances into our food, how the risk factors of these substances are not fully understood, and how these substances are toxic to everyone, regardless of their physical health or condition. First, I'd like to talk about what the FDA is and what they do. According to its website, the FDA is a government agency that regulates food, drugs, cosmetics, and other health-related categories. Their job is to protect us from harmful substances that may compromise our health. The FDA also monitors the amount of an additive that is allowed in food. However, some substances have raised concerns. Food dyes like red 40 and yellow 5, and preservatives like BHA, BHT, and other heavy metals have begun to raise public concern for their harmful side effects. The FDA approval process is not as strict as it should be, because eliminating some substances would be harmful to large companies like Hostess or McDonald's, forcing them to reformulate their products. Now that we know what the FDA does, I'd like to talk about how the risk factors of these substances are not fully understood. A lot of substances the FDA allows in our food have not undergone long-term studies. According to Indoctrin News, although the FDA regulates food ingredients and additives, without doing long-term studies, we don't know what risk factors can be associated with consuming certain substances in high quantities over long periods. Foods can interact with your body in many ways and have different effects that can be difficult to predict. Cumulative exposure can cause substances that are increased in small amounts to gradually build up in your body over time. The synergetic effect means that two substances that may be harmless on their own could have a harmful effect when consumed together. In addition to this, some people may be more sensitive to certain additives. However, the FDA bases its regulations on the population average. Many substances have not been reevaluated. As we've seen, there is a lot we don't fully understand about food additives. Regardless, it is important to understand that certain substances are dangerous to everyone. So let's talk about various substances with potential risks. According to an article titled "FDA and Industry Continue to Ignore Cumulative Effects of Chemicals in the Diet," there are several potentially dangerous substances that are still allowed for consumption per the FDA. One example is aspartame, an artificial sweetener. Aspartame has been shown to have side effects including cancer and metabolic changes. The higher the level of consumption, the more likely you are to experience these dangerous side effects. Other dangerous substances include food preservatives like BHA and BHT. These have been shown to increase the likelihood of cancer or endocrine disruption. Another widely discussed additive is MSG, which has been shown to cause headaches and sweating in some individuals. Despite all this, some may argue that the FDA thoroughly tests food additives for risks. According to an article by the Federal Register, food additives are not new. A lot of controversial substances like aspartame have undergone hundreds of studies and have been deemed safe by the World Health Organization. The article also argues that substances are necessary for the modern food system. Substances like sodium, sugar, and preservatives are necessary for ensuring that food has a longer shelf life and high nutritional value, and to prevent foodborne illnesses. Finally, the FDA has safety margins that establish a daily recommended intake of substances. It is important to not be entirely confident in the FDA testing, however. Although testing is undergone, long-term studies are incomplete, and there is insufficient real-world data for many substances. The FDA is also heavily influenced by the food industry, which can cause bias in food safety data. Many substances have not been retested up to modern standards, and there is still a severe lack of assurance of the safety of people with individual risk factors. In conclusion, today I've talked about how certain food additives may play a significant role in your overall health and well-being. They also pose a significant risk when consumed regularly. I explained how the FDA allows thousands of potentially harmful substances into our food. Many of these substances have not been tested, and their cumulative and synergetic effects are not understood. Substances have a wide range of effects that can be harmful to some individuals more than others. However, these substances can be harmful to everyone. Food additives are meant to preserve our food and make it more appealing to eat, but at what costs? These substances come with many risks, many of which greatly outweigh the benefit of a longer shelf life. It is time we stand up for our health and demand a system that prioritizes transparency and safety in the food we consume.